Side and Stricker for On the Table. We'd like to talk to you today about staying healthy and how we can approach this with an easy, safe, and inexpensive mindset. Let's realize that when you come to be about my age, whatever that might be, but I guess a few of you at home are in their mid-40s to early 50s. Let's realize that this is the time of our life when we really need to focus on our health. We kind of were a little irresponsible when we were younger and we didn't focus on it so much. But when you get to be about our age now, we might have children, maybe even grandchildren. And my point is, we have people around us who love us and who we love and we want to be with as long as we can. Now guys sitting there in your armchairs at home, or ladies as well, let's think about this, okay? It's not hard and it's inexpensive. We need to get off our butts, okay? We need to get to the doctors, and if you're that macho guy out there, like I've been in my life, with my prior military experience, you don't dare go to the flight surgeon because that can only be bad for you, right? Not true. We need to get to the doctor. Guys, we're all aware that prostate cancer is in the top 3 killers of today, and ladies, breast cancer as well. Now, a lot of the physicians out there do a great job of counseling our ladies out there of not just going for their annual pap smears and things like that, but how to do their own breast exams at home. But the physicians aren't so good about telling us men out there what we need to be doing. And let's be honest and let's be frank, there are things that men can do at home to check themselves for testicular cancer specifically, and then we need to start talking about how can we actually mitigate those risks, okay? Let's talk about a good diet, and let's think about getting to the gym or even exercising at home. What our show On the Table wants to talk to you all about is that we can approach a healthy, common sense diet, and we can approach physical fitness, whether it's at home or gym, and it can be inexpensive, it can be fun, and it can be safe. Let's talk about fitness and working out at home or at the gym. Now, before we either adjust our diets radically or we change our physical workout regimen too drastically, we need to go to the doctor. Again, don't be afraid, guys. Get off your butts, put your machoism up on the shelf, and get to the doctor. Make sure that you have a healthy heart. So we shouldn't be afraid to go to the doctor, and we need to find out that we have a healthy heart, that we're getting plenty of oxygen in our blood and to our brains and to our muscle structure when we're working out. Now, if you have a fear that you might have something wrong with you, that is not a good reason to not go to the doctor, guys. We can all get online. There are plenty of websites out there, such as askadoctor.com, where you can enter any symptoms you feel you might have, and it'll come up with a short list of possible, and I'll emphasize possible, maladies. This is not a diagnosis from a licensed physician. This is just information for you to consider. I myself try to strike a good balance between a common sense diet and working out at the gym. I also run, which is free, other than the pair of running shoes that you might have to invest in. Now, going to the gym is not hard. 2 or 3 times a week is the habit that works for me. And we all know that getting into that habit of going to the gym or adjusting our diet is the hardest part. But once you start going, you're going to find you feel refreshed when you leave the gym, you feel better about yourself, even your skin is going to feel better. And it's just getting in the habit of going there. I do 45 minutes of cardio every gym trip. I either work the stationary bicycle, or my favorite is actually the elliptical machine. I always stretch before I work out, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm lifting weights, if I'm going to go run 1.5 miles around my neighborhood, no matter what I do, I always stretch first. And you have to stretch lightly because remember, you're not warmed up yet. So your muscles are cold, stretch easy, and work into getting ready to exert your body. And always after you work out, it's a good idea to stretch again. Let me emphasize here, I am not a physician, but these are things that I've learned through 24 years of emphasis on physical fitness in the United States Navy. So I think I've had a little bit of training there. You be the judge of that. But what works for me is 3 or 4 times at the gym a week, some light weights, and then I balance that with a common sense diet. Now, we shouldn't be afraid about going to the grocery store and thinking that we have to buy all fresh fruits and vegetables and you're going to walk out of there paying 3 times more than you would normally. There are plenty of recipes online that you can find healthy, smart food that lowers your sugar intake, lowers your white bread intake, and gives you good fiber and good fresh fruits and vegetables. And folks, we also need to understand that living healthy and exercising is a lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of us who might have been sedentary for a while or might be sedentary right now. You might be sitting there in your big chair, your sofa right now, thinking, I'm not taking this body to the gym. Well, listen, folks, I understand. And we all want to be ready to put ourselves out there. So let's start easy. Let's start with just a few simple baby steps at home. Now, when you go to Walmart next time, or Best Buy, you can find a little device, it's a pedometer, that's made by Fitbit. And this very tiny Fitbit pedometer has its own battery, and you can sync it with an online profile that you set up for yourself, and setting up that profile does not cost anything. This little pedometer clips to your belt, it can clip to your shirt neck, or you can just hold it and walk around with it, and it measures all of your steps. It measures the calories you've burned and how far you might have walked. Now, if you don't want to go outside and walk yet, let's keep it simple. We've all heard of KISS. We here at On the Table call it keep it simple and simplistic. You can attach this pedometer to any part of your clothing or hold it in your hand and just start walking indoors. When you start feeling hungry, instead of going for that bag of chips, then grab your pedometer. You know you're going to walk to the fridge and you're eyeballing that cheesecake that's in the back. Try to grab something healthy. And when you get back to your chair, look at your pedometer and see just the few steps you've taken so far, but you'll find throughout the day as you're walking around your house that you've taken all of these steps that you never really thought about before, and all these calories that you burn that you never realized you were always burning simply walking around your house. You're not having to worry about the clothes you're wearing, are you in style to go to the gym, or all those good-looking people out there that are always at the gym and you don't feel so hot about yourself. This is easy. Stay at home, walk. When you're ready to walk outside, start simple, keep it simplistic, just walk around the block. Even once a day for a week or 2 weeks. Get out and walk around the block. Get some good fresh air. Remember, oxygen feeds our muscles and feeds our brains and feeds our holistic health. So get out and walk some more. So now that you've walked around the inside of your house, go ahead and push yourself a little bit. Get out and get some of that fresh air. Take a little tour around your house. Do you walk to your mailbox to retrieve your mail? Do you walk out to the end of the driveway to receive your newspaper every day? While you're out there, take a tour around your house. After a couple of days, add a couple of laps around your house. Set goals for yourself. Easy, simple goals to start with. And get out and enjoy the air. So I think you're going to feel a lot better about yourself in the coming week or two after you've walked around the inside of your house. Take a couple tours around the outside of the house. Up next, we'll talk about good diets that are out there, so don't touch the remote. We'll be right back.
A squat is like this. You go down and out. 2, 3.
All right.
4. Make sure you push your butt out. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now walk it out. Let's get some weights. You can see. Now, tricep kickbacks. Elbows up. Kick it back like this. Back. 2, 3. Make sure your elbows are up. 4, 5. This works the triceps. Over. Make sure you keep your stomachs in, tight. Make sure you're breathing. Now, if you want to be advanced and really kick it up like that. Up like that. But we're not going there. Keep it low.
All right.
All right. Up, up, up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Hey, Couch, let's go to the farm. You could use the fresh air and exercise.
Must play game. What happened?
Let's go to the farm. Let's go. Let's go.
What can we do at a farm?
I'll show you.
Wow, I didn't know I could have this much fun without pushing buttons. I'm finally getting feeling back in my thumb. Bonus.
It's cool.
It's sweet. Fresh from the farm.
Let's eat.
Let's go to a farm.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to On the Table. Again, I'm your host Kevin Seidenstricker, and now we want to start talking about diet. I can't stress enough the importance of a large amount of water intake. Recall that our bodies are about 75 to 80% water. There are plenty of good websites out there that prescribe how much water to drink and really some ideal times in the day of when you should be drinking water. A good 8-ounce glass of water the first thing out of bed is a great idea. Before you go to bed is also a great idea. Check out those websites on water intake. The next thing we want to talk about is going to the store and buying healthy food. Like we said earlier, it doesn't have to be expensive, and there are a lot of good websites out there that talk about the good fresh fruits and vegetables that are out there we can get. I know myself, when I first started thinking about healthy diet, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to eat a lot of bland, no-taste food that doesn't really excite my palate. There are a lot of recipes that one can find in any book in Barnes & Noble or any other bookstore and online that show you how to spice up what might you...
Okay.
There are lots of good websites out there that'll teach you how to spice up what might normally be a bland, no-taste diet. Does anyone think that just eating sliced apples is boring? Well, I do. So what do? I put peanut butter on them. Bananas, maybe a little boring? Put peanut butter on that. You can almost put peanut butter on anything. But there are a lot of other good fruits out there too. Grapefruit, oranges. Many medical professionals and nutritionists out there have identified that, especially with eating disorders, a lot of those stem from nervous energy. It also comes from a little bit of boredom. Sitting around, whether you're sitting at the desk all day working or you're sitting at home and you feel like you have nothing to do, the easiest thing to do is run to the refrigerator and grab something bad to eat. It's almost always bad for us, right? Realize that we can go to the dollar store and buy a package of pumpkin seeds, which are about 260 calories for the entire package. There's no way anyone out there can eat an entire package of pumpkin seeds in an hour and a half. This is an hour and a half well spent, expending the energy to crack open those pumpkin seeds, actually ingest them, and then think of the protein and other antioxidants you're getting from these pumpkin seeds. This is what those nutritionists and eating disorder medical professionals are talking about when people are maybe sedentary and feeling bored or they have some nervous energy to expend. Cashews are another good example. High protein, low salt. We don't want any salt in our diet if we can avoid it. We can find a lot of these inexpensive foods at the local dollar store. Many of these packages are sold for about $1.50, less than $2. Packages of almonds, peanuts, pistachios. And think again of the energy it's going to take to crack these things open. And they're a good source of protein. And our diets don't have to be complex. As we talked about before, there are lots of good recipes out there in single foods that you can buy listed on the internet. One of the practices that I learned years ago is to have an intake of 4 or 5 small meals a day. Now this can be done with, again, inexpensive and simple to fix foods. These recipes are all over the internet, folks. They're easy, they're simple, they are not time consuming. They keep in small packages in the refrigerator. Now what I like to do is create a bunch of these small packages and just put them in the fridge. I line my shelves in the fridge with all these little containers of food that I've already prepared. I know it's good for me. So when it's halftime during the football game and I'm thinking I need to order chicken wings, I just go to the fridge, grab 3 or 4 of these different containers. Now I've got a whole smorgasbord that I can sit there for the second half of the ball game and have a lot of variety. I can grab hot sauce, I can grab any kind of a number of flavorings that are low in sugar, low in calorie, and put these all in there together. So it gives you some variety. And isn't that what we're really looking for? Again, we don't want any bland, boring foods in our diet. We want to spice things up a little bit. One of the things that benefited me a lot was 24 years in the United States Navy and learning about physical fitness and being held to a certain standard. Now that I've been out of the Navy for about 5 years now, even though I have those best practices still anchored well in my mind, it gets a little easy to become a little lax. What I found is finding a workout partner really helps motivate me. It helps me set realistic goals with someone else and work towards a common goal together. Now this doesn't mean, again, that you have to go to the gym to find this person. It can be a neighbor, it can be an acquaintance, it can be a best friend, it can be your spouse, your significant other, whomever. But finding anyone out there to work out with, to talk through some brainstorming of, hey, what do you find online for a good recipe? What did you eat last night? Oh, I never thought of it that way. A lot of these ideas can come just from talking to somebody else and setting some common goals together. And that's going to get you where you need to be. Again, remember, when you're setting your goals, start out simple, keep it simplistic, and don't let yourself get overwhelmed with these grandiose goals that you know you can never achieve in 2 weeks or 2 months. Start simple. The next thing we want to do then is think about, if you're a smoker, smoking cessation. Now, we've seen all the advertisements and the commercials about how smoking is probably the #1 killer in America today. It's a huge cause of cancer. We all know this to be true. The facts present this case firmly and solidly. Helping to get yourself off of smoking is going to take you a long way towards your goals. And any of those other vices that might be categorized as bad habits, remember that the beers aren't so bad. Light beers taste just as good, but any kind of heavy, dark beers, and the liquors too, guys. I know I enjoy a good scotch once in a while, but the heavy, dark liquors are also really bad for us. And wines are good. There are a lot of articles out there that attest to, even for the pregnant women out there, a glass or a half a glass of wine a night. Again, check these facts online. Don't listen to me, I'm not the expert, but check these online. Even half a glass of wine, women, is good for you when you're pregnant as well. Now what we want to do is go hear what some of our experts have to say on this topic.
Tyrone, we were talking about this machine here. Would you explain that to me? Do you want me to step on it, or what would you want me to do?
Yeah, it's a good idea. I understand. If you come closer to it, what I want to have you do is step up on it, and I'm going to guide you through a couple minutes of it. What it's going to do is going to first check your heart rate. But before you do that, it's going to have some very important information that I have to read out to you before we can actually begin. So, if by chance, do you have any heart trouble? Do you have a pacemaker? Or you have a bypass surgery? Or any chest pain?
Not any of the above.
Okay, so that's important. So when we talk to our seniors, that's something we definitely want to ask them about. Okay, what I have you do now is hold the handle, your right handle. Okay, and this will create, and you can just let that on, just drop down. And we're just going to let this take its course. It's going to ask us to do a couple of things, and I'm just going to repeat it to you. What it's going through now is just beginning to get warmed up. The electrodes that's in here, it's going to begin to channel up your arm. Now, if you hold both handles, okay, what's going to do now is actually check your heart rate. And that takes a couple of seconds.
Okay.
So we let that beat out and just hold that position. As you see, the first thing popped up is that your heart rate, just for mentioning, like 70 beats per second, which is pretty good.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, good heart rates normally range between 60 and 80 heartbeats per second. So you're starting out pretty good. Yeah,
Wow.
That's a good thing. And you take both hands off. Okay. Now what we're going to have you do is actually mimic our little figure here. She's going to step down, and if you do the same thing, just step down off of it,
Just step
one at a
down.
time. And then what have you do is you're going to step back up. So when she's going to raise her right leg up, and you're going to do the same thing, and then your left. Okay. And what you're going to do is mimic that style. We're going to work you for about a minute, and that's going to raise your heart rate, and that's going to give us a chance to see how much it would take to work you out, or how many days you could work out. It gives us kind of a platform to work off. So now if you step down and step up and catch up with her, step up, watch in pretty good shape. It's going to show whether or not you're in good shape, bad shape, fair shape, excellent shape, superwoman shape. Okay? And we use this to gauge how we work our clients. If they're taking medication, we know not to work them as hard. Some people can only work 2 days a week. I mean, two times out of a week. Okay, so this is a good machine that we can. So again, we'll start out by reading the warnings. Again, if there's any heart trouble or there's a pacemaker, you asked that earlier in the show. If there's a bypass surgery, any chest pain, that's something that we actually begin to ask before we begin to do the test. Now, if you hold the right handle, okay, and what that's going to allow us to do is open this up for you. It takes a couple seconds to read through this. And you're starting from a resting position. And now if you hold both handles, okay, and what this is going to do is now check your resting heart rate as it flickers. So again, it takes about a few seconds for that. And again, you see your heart rate was posted at 73 beats per second. That's really good. That's really good. I like seeing stuff like that. Those are good figures to look at because, again, we're looking at 60 to 80 beats per second. That gives us a real gauge on how healthy the person's heart is. Okay, take both hands off the handle. Now what you're going to do is copy her action. She is our demonstrator, so if you step down as she does, and okay, that's good. Now what's going to happen, she's going to step up starting with the right foot, and you lead up and go with your left. Now hold that position, and what she's going to do now is take you through the test. Right foot's going to go down first, right foot come back up. Ready and go. And down and up. That's it. All right, let's mimic her. That's correct. A little bit of cardio workout here. And slow it down a little bit. Okay, so stay up with her. Now step up again. Okay. All right, so that's pretty fast. Hold both handles again. Okay. And now you see a difference in the rate in your beats. Yeah, we enjoy using this machine to kind of.
It's wonderful.
Those folks who aren't sure about they need to come in and work out and get into your work and your heart rate going up to like a 93, and it should start trickling down from 93, see 92. Okay, it means that now you're going back into your resting heart rate. Okay, which is a good thing. Yeah, some people that not sure if they need to work out, when we have them on this step machine and they see that the rate's not correct, then they're ready to sign up. Okay, it's almost there. Okay, now take both hands off. And we're going to take it through a couple more steps and we're going to be done with that. Okay. It's going to ask you for the gender, so if you take the left handle, okay, just hold that and go up to your gender and release it. Okay. All right, you release it. Okay, it's going to ask you to confirm that you're female, so hold the left handle one more time and release it. Okay, that's good. Let it go. It's going to ask you your age, so we get a chance to know that. So if you hold your left handle, and you go up to your age. Okay, now let it go. Okay, and confirm that by holding the left handle one more time. And this is the fun part. This is now going to show you. You fall into different categories. It's now going to show you what your before test was and your after test. So 76 and 88, and that is a great rate to look at. You'll see the scale on the left says super, great, good, fair, poor, and bad. In your case, because the air is moving so fast, it's going to put you up into a superwoman. And that's exceptional because that means that we can work you out vigorously. We don't have to take anything away from you. We can work you very, very stringently. So on this one, it gives us a result as far as what you can do. So you turn out to be a super, okay? Your warm-up time only takes about 5 minutes, and we can work you 30 to 40 minutes non-stop. Your cool-down time is the same as your start time is 5 minutes. And you can do this 4 to 5 times a week. Okay, so and your heartbeat, especially when you're really getting into a vigorous workout, can go up to 123 beats per minute. That's excellent. Okay. So, and this is something that we have our clients go through, and really gives us a real good gauge.
Hi folks, welcome back to On the Table. Now, from a man's point of view, I'd like to talk to you about what our male audience should be thinking about as far as preventive medicine and identifying dangerous signals early. We have to know right up front that early detection of any illness is the key to survival. We can't emphasize that enough. Now, the only way we're going to know if there's something wrong with this is we've got to go to the doctor. Like I said earlier in our first segment, take that machoism and put it on a shelf because it's going to hurt you. Get to the doctor, and especially when you start having some of these symptoms that we'll talk about perhaps in another segment, but right now, just briefly, we can talk about symptoms such as headaches, especially if it's a headache that's localized to a certain side of our brain. Any kind of dizziness, even and especially when we're not stressing ourselves. If you're feeling a little dizzy or you're feeling a little nauseous when you're not exerting yourself, this is probably something that needs to be checked out. There are other signs that we need to be aware of. Physicians for many years have done a great job advising women on the things that they can do at home as far as self-examinations, especially for preventive medicine. We don't hear so often what the men can do. Men, we're going to be candid and we're going to be honest. We're going to have to touch ourselves and do some self-exams, okay? Women are taught to do breast exams at home by themselves. You might not know this, but men also suffer from breast cancer. It's true. We need to be able to detect early. Remember, early detection is the key to survival. So men, we need to educate ourselves on how to do breast exams on ourselves at home. Also, let's also talk about
Prostate cancer.
another area, men, we need to think about is the testicles. That's right. Remember, testicular cancer is also a killer out there. And there are methods for us to do our own testicular self-exams. When we can't do self-exams at home, we also need to think about getting to the doctor and getting some of those other tests done that aren't always so comfortable. Yeah, you guessed it. I'm talking about colonoscopies, guys. They're really not that bad. You need to start doing those around the age of 50, and then a doctor will tell you how often after that you need to go in for a colonoscopy. Remember, colon cancer, testicular cancer, breast cancer, all things men need to worry about. We need to be concerned about this, and I can't say this enough, detect early, and detect early. We'll be right back. So now, let's see what our experts have to say.
Ready or not, here I come.
We see you, Gordy.
Oh man, I can't play this game.
That's okay, Gordy. Everybody's different. You're supposed to be shaped like that.
We're round all over.
Bodies come in all shapes and sizes. What's important is that you get exercise and eat healthy, fresh foods. Like what you get from a farm.
Peaches.
Watermelon.
Strawberries. Well, this is awkward.
It's cool.
It's sweet. Fresh from the farm.
Let's eat.
Let's go to a farm.
Well, that's all for today. Please keep your eyes open for our next episode. Remember, our motto here at On the Table is keep it simple and simplistic. We hope you keep it simple and simplistic too. Have a great day.